Bonjour, mes amis. I'm not French, so no excuse. So, my friends, it's a pleasure to be here. And on the early 70s, Chic Xavier had a dream, and I'm so glad because this dream came true today. And this moment is so special for all of us. I'm glad to be here with you. So today, I will bring a subject here that is hard. That is hard to talk about. It's hard to understand. It's hard to feel. Although we know it very well, pain and suffering. I will try to deliver it in an easy way, in a very fast way, because there is no other way to talk about this in a short period of time, but I will try to do my best. And it's just here to skim what's going on about pain and suffering. So, the first thing that you have to think in mind, that you have to have in mind, is the definition of pain. So, where it's from and how does it affect our comprehension of what is pain. So, it's from Latin, Old French, Middle English, penalty, in the sense of suffering inflicted as a punishment for an offense, later than pain. And for this here, for this punishment there, the big problem is it's God's fault. Because it's punishment, which is not true, and we'll try to explain it later on then. So clinically, pain is a result from tissue damage, and it's a part of the body's defense mechanism. And it warns us to take an action to prevent further tissue damage. So pain is a result. It's not a cause, it's a result. And then it is a defense mechanism. It's nothing to put us down. It's our self-defense. And it prevents other damages. So, most of the times we think that the pain is a cause of everything. Oh, I'm not doing this because I have this problem, I have this disease, I have this illness. So, and it's not true. And we don't understand it because we always, sorry, I'm so old, so I'm still pointing that. So it's still punishment. We see pain as a punishment, and it's not. So, and then we have suffering. And most of the times we make a confusion. What is suffering and what is pain? And they are two different things. They walk together like a railway, but they are not the same thing. And suffering is a condition of pain, which can affect the body and or the emotional experience of the subject. But it's not the pain. It's a bit strange in it, but sometimes people are suffering and they are not feeling pain. And then sometimes people is with pain, but they are not suffering. We see people doing chemo, doing very severe treatment, and they are there. They have pain, yes, but they are not suffering. So we have to try to understand it and make the difference between what I'm at this moment in my life, I'm suffering or I'm having pain. Or we can have both, but we have to understand it. And first step is, this is not a cause, it's a consequence. There is, when we say that about body's defense, there's a very rare disease, it's called Rayleigh-Day syndrome, which it affects the nervous system, causing insensitivity. It means that we can put your hand on fire, it can burn, and you don't feel it. An example, a young boy in Mexico. He was living with his family in a circus, and the highlight of the show, it was when he was crucified in a wood board with the nails in his hand, and he couldn't feel the pain. So, and then we have to think, is the pain a punishment, or it's the red alert that says to us, don't cross that road now, stop, look both sides, and then think that if you can cross this way. This is pain. So this rare disease here, the parents with the children that are suffer this disease, they suffer much more than the parents that the children, because if my child broken a leg, I know that he broken a leg. The other young one was at the school, he broke his leg, he couldn't walk, but he didn't feel the pain. So the little ones, they have to wear goggles because they can blind with the toys. They don't feel pain. So pain is a warn for us, and it's not a punishment. Types of pain: physical and emotional. It's important to mention that emotional and physical pain are two separate pains. However, physical pain can change into emotional pain and likewise. And it happens because we cannot separate our physical body from our spiritual body. And I say this because when some people, they are physically ill, it can lead into emotional illness as well. So, low self-esteem, depression, isolation, and in the other way, if we have spiritual disease, it can affect us physically as well. So it works on both ways. It's a road that goes and comes. Okay? There are two kinds of physical of pains, physical and emotional. And sometimes we prefer to have a broken arm than a broken heart. Which hurts more? So there is no way to say that, oh, this is hurt more, this is less. No. Pain is pain. What hurts for me in a way, for you hurts in a different way. You have your own experience. I have mine. So first thing that we have to keep in mind before we open our mouth to say something to someone that's suffering. Oh, if I was you, or in my place, no. It's his pain. That's why he's having it and not you. So we have to keep it in mind. So two kinds of different pains, physical and emotional. They can walk together, yes, but they are different and separate. Here is a chart from the American Society for Pain Studies. And this is the way pain is linked. Physical and emotional can work. I have a problem here. I have a problem here. And the most interesting thing, emotional burden. I am left hand. I can't do anything with this arm. And I was supposed to have pain in here. Believe or not, when I have emotional burden, I am under this situation of stress, I feel pain here on the right side. So it's not physically, and I know that's affecting my body. So there are many diseases that, so they have genetic predispositions, and there are diseases that we must go through because of our previous experience. Yes, but I'm not talking here today about that kind of disease that we bring from the previous existence. I'm talking about today the things that shouldn't exist and would bring it to our lives. So, some disease, we don't need them. We create them. Okay, so I have a problem with my diet. It will affect me. I like to drink alcohol too much. It will affect me. So, and then we get back, oh, it was God's punishment. So, Yeah, but as you can see, there are those are some points that that shows that how pain and emotion can work. So of course, people feel it in a different way, but as a study, as in general way, as a research, those are the most common results of pain. Well, and here we have Paul of Tarsus. Yes, we have Paul of Tarsus. So, some people say that I don't believe in a spiritual body. So, therefore, this justification is not for me. I have nothing to do with my previous existence. And I don't believe in it. Okay, you don't have to believe it. But if you see it a bit deeper, this person, at some point in his life, they will find that there is something hurt in somewhere that we don't know, and we can't explain that pain. Because it's not in my flesh. Well, but it's in my mind. Well, you have no mind. You have brain. And it's different. If you don't believe, if everything is matter for you, where is this pain? So, for those people that say that I don't have a spiritual body or I don't believe it, and when they find it, I'm so happy because I say, welcome to your real world. Now you are finding yourself through the pain. And it is amazing because it's happened to my friend from Tarsus. Because Paul, he was living in a pain. And he was blind, spiritually talking. Paul was blind, but he couldn't realize it. And he was blind. And then, by the Damascus gate, Jesus came and said, come here, my fellow. We have to talk now. And then Paul became physically blind. And then he started to see. So sometimes pain comes to us, disease comes to us to show us what we are not able to see. Because as long as I have money in my pocket and the life is the way that I want, I don't care about anything else. My life is running smooth. I have everything and nice. Until the moment I receive a shake from a life. And then I have to face life how it is. So, some words here are very important. Worldly conventions in religious prejudice provided him with an apparent. So, the tranquility that we have in life is apparent. Because when a disease comes to us or to our family, we see that we are not ready or prepared. So there is something in there. But the intervention often provides the pain was enough. The pain was enough to judge his immense needs. Not faults, needs. It was not his fault, but he was needy. So, and God calls us all the time to a happy and healthy and a perfect existence. But we only understand this invitation by the ways of pain. Because that is the last step that God gave to us. But before this last step, we have many, many options. Yes, Paul. He met Stephen. He met the men on the house of the way. But he didn't follow them. He didn't follow Jesus. So, how could someone like Paul be transformed if not by feeling the pain on the flesh? That transformation was not just because he was becoming bright in a new way. I found Jesus. No, he felt in his flesh. What is pain? Why pain then? It's a big question, you need to why. And then I was talking to Klein J, and I asked him, why pain? Why? And it was wonderful when he talked to me, And he said, Altino, pain should not be seen as a why. But for what? What's the reason? Why? Because even if I know the answer, the why that I'm looking for. Why? Why my child has this disease? Why my mom? Why my grandfather? Even if I know why, it's just an answer. If I don't know what I'm going to do with that, it doesn't change something? No. Oh, my father had cancer because he smoked for a long time. Okay, yes. It's just explanation. So it's much more than that. So pain should not be seen, or we should not ask why the pain. Well, we can ask why, but we have to ask for what this thing is happening to me. There is a reason. Imagine that we are driving in a dark road in the night, and then a stone falls in the middle of the road. We have to stop there. This is the disease, because something worse could happen on the next curve. So, in the Spirit's books, question 933. So, men are often the artisans of their own worldly sufferings. Are they also the artisans of their moral sufferings? I'll just read this first bit here. Even more so. So, we are responsible for any kind of suffering we have. And Kardec is not asking about pain. He's asking about suffering. Because pain can come independent of our action. We are living in a world and things happen in this world. It affects us, like affect everything. If you have to do something in your garden, you have to cut some flowers. Life do the same thing. And we are the flowers of God. We are living in this garden here. So we are responsible for any kind of suffering. And then the gospel according to Spiritism, blessed are the afflicted. You see, the Kardec, it's linked, the gospel and the book of the Spirit's book. The same kind of question, but in a different way. Who then is responsible for man's afflictions, if not man himself? Only when man works at bettering himself, both morally and intellectually, will he be able to avoid suffering. It's not avoid having disease. It's not avoid these things. It's avoid suffering. Because Jesus said that blessed are the afflicted. And on the Sermon on the Mount, blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. The problem is, I love a quote by Chico Xavier, when he said that, well, Jesus said that blessed are the poor in spirit, blessed are those who mourn. But most of the time, we are just mourning. We are not being comforted. We are not being blessed. Because we are just asking, why? Why my pain? Why my suffering? So, we are just mourning. And Jesus offers us comfort, blessings. So, it's promise. When we are ill, or someone that close to us, what we do? We take them to a doctor, to the hospital. Why we don't ask for Jesus? He promises. He promised it to us. And then Jesus said, peace I leave with you. My peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. And do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid. So, before suffering, we are in the process of disease, in illness. Okay, it hurts. Yes, it hurts. But I don't have to be afraid, because I know a very good doctor. Because one thing is when we trust on the Jesus, on the Bible. It's amazing when he cured people in it. Why he cannot cure us as well? So we have to take a chance on us, and we have to change. And I say that there are two kinds of pain, that physical and emotional. But no, there are two kinds of pains. One that hurts you, and the other that it changes you. And the last thing that I would like to show to you is that you have to keep breaking your heart until it opens. We only will stop suffering and have pain when we open our heart. If you don't want to open, step by step, through pain and suffering, life will open it in one way or another. And the most important thing to prevent suicide, hope. Hold on, pain ends. Hold on, pain ends. If you have friends, go to them, talk to them, do something good, but please, hope. Don't stop yourself. Don't think that killing yourself, committing suicide, you will stop the pain. You will stop your body, but not the pain. And I can say and can talk about this because I'm here today talking to you because I had hope. I'm still suffering, I still have pain, but I have hope and I have friends. That's why I'm here. Thank you.